Hey everybody. Let's see, it is Friday, so TGIF, and I hope you have a great weekend. This video is going to be a little bit longer than the ones I've been making lately. I've been trying really hard to keep them short as to hold on to your attention, since I have a very short attention span. But I've been in a really deep depression and such racing thoughts because of interactions and relationships, and really feeling some pressure and stress coming down on me. Things that are going to be major life events that are going to be happening before I'm able to get on top of them. If you stick this out with me, I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes, and most likely this is going to be a two-parter. It has to do with my the fact that there's always a power struggle with me, and it's going to be about my abuse cycle. I will make different posts that will kind of piece it all together, like talking about short videos. It'll be like childhood with my dad, childhood with my mom, things like that, because we all know that our upbringing does have a lot to do with how we perceive ourselves, how we develop our coping skills, and it can really affect our mental status. So I guess I'll break that down in smaller parts. What I wanted to talk about, I mentioned the power struggle, and I mentioned the abuse cycle. Of course, it started when I was young. There was no physical, there was no sexual abuse, and I am so grateful for that, because the women that I know that have been through that, there's a permanent mark. You can't erase that. The few that I've seen that have overcome that, truly overcome that, man, they have bloomed and blossomed and become beautiful, strong women. And I didn't even have that struggle, and I feel like I am just weak, just a weak person, yet power struggle with people. I don't know how to find middle ground. The way my abuse cycle tends to work, or has worked in the past, is me being different as a smaller child, we'll say up until before high school. I got bullied a good bit. Kids are kids. This forehead, oh, that was great. That was real great for picking on me. When I had teeth, they were big and crooked. Another great way to pick on me. And because I was smart, believe me, you get picked on for that. Plus, something I've never mentioned is that my family moved back and forth from Alabama to Michigan. I was born in Michigan. We moved to Alabama before I was 2. My first memories are in Alabama. Age 5, we moved back to Michigan. I finish out kindergarten there. We moved down here. I start first grade in one school. Then we moved to a different a different city. So now I'm in school number 2. And then the last, less than 2 months of first grade, we had moved back to Michigan again. So there's that. And then somewhere around 5th grade, I think, I had started 5th grade. We moved, maybe a mile away. But now I'm over this specific set of railroad tracks, and I have to change school. I hated that, changing those schools. Even though I like the second school better, I still, it's just, how much more can you rattle somebody? I couldn't get settled. I couldn't keep a set of friends. I had just constant, chaotic craziness. And finally, we're almost halfway through 5th grade, and boom, we moved to Alabama. I started school here in January of '84. I was way ahead of the kids in my classroom. Michigan, at that time, their school system was a lot further ahead than Alabama, so guess what? Got picked on. And then the last, swear to God, before we moved, I was in a middle-class neighborhood, and almost, I think I had seen maybe a black person here or there, but had never really interacted. And my parents decided to move us from that environment to a ghetto in Alabama. And at the time, it wasn't as ghetto-y. It is now. But it was a ghetto. And so I go to school. I'm way ahead of everybody. I'm smart. My mom had gotten my hair chopped off because my dad liked my long hair. My mom says she was doing it to help me because I was tender-headed. That hair meant everything to me. And she got it cut collar length. They couldn't tell if I was a boy or a girl when I hit Alabama, I mean. And then at the less than 2 months, they moved us to a for-real ghetto. I was one of maybe 5 white kids in the entire 5th grade. We're talking 2 classes worth, maybe 5 white kids. I couldn't understand how the white kids spoke. Damn sure couldn't understand anything the black kids were saying. And all I got was constant ridicule because I was smart. Yeah. Well, I learned how to be a bully after that. I learned how to be a good bully. You get picked on enough? Oh yeah. Between the bullshit with my parents, that constant power struggle that will be explained. Apparently we're doing background before we get to the now. That's what started the internal and eventually external power struggle in most of the relationships I've had in my life. Mostly with myself. Let's see, where do we want to go from there? Finished out 6th, 7th, and 8th grade with bad conduct, but great grades. So I got into a wonderful high school, and I don't know what happened. Everything changed on a dime. I had no interest. The teachers bored me. The classes bored me. And when I finally dropped out, April of my junior year, I don't think I had passed maybe 3 classes in 3 years, maybe 3 classes. And there was really no reason. I've still never found a reason for it. This could go on forever. I'm going to drop it off with the reason that I dropped out. I went to school one day. I was late. Rather than going to the entrance where the principal and the counselors are, I entered at the opposite end of the school, so I could make that long walk down the hallway to go check in tardy again. Yeah. But before I could do that, I hadn't gotten maybe 20 feet in the door, and all of a sudden, a gang came busting in behind me. I happened to be even with where the restroom was, which was like maybe 1.5 feet deep because the door swung open, and I scrunched back into that, and I honestly have no idea how many people were in that gang, but some of them had guns, and about the time that I'm overwhelmed, like what the hell just happened, I look down, and from the opposite end, there's another gang coming in. We have a full-on gang fight. Yeah. Like I said, guns, One of my favorite teachers, big black man, got pistol whipped. People went to jail. I wasn't there for that. As soon as I saw the gang go running past me and the second gang come running in from the opposite, into the hallway, I went out the door, I got on the bus, I went back home, told my parents why I was not going back, and they decided they wanted to, they knew they couldn't chastise me, so they tried to pull the pity card. My dad had a heart attack at 45. He was on disability. Because he was on disability, they were getting a check for me. Because they were getting a check for me, my mom was getting a caregiver check for both of us. So, even though we were poor, they managed. They had 4 checks coming in. On top of that, if you don't go back to school, we'll have to get rid of your dog, Sassy. My childhood pet, the only pet I ever owned. And it was a damn lie. They were just not wanting to lose my check. Now, I understand financial struggles. I'm there. But to do that to a kid, to try and blackmail me over my dog, because I don't want to go back to a school where a gang just had a fight. I told them about the guns. Hell, one of my best friends had a gun put to his face that day and told, if you show back up tomorrow, white boy, I'm gonna blow your effing brains out. We were 16 when this happened, me and my friend Billy. Not my bestie, but a friend of mine, Billy. And he dropped out too. He went to a different school. I just stopped and started working. But, yeah, power struggle. I'm sure you can look at that. And now, don't get me wrong, I have happy childhood memories. I will elaborate more, like I said, with my father, with my mom. And, I thought this was going to be shorter than it is, so if you've watched to the 13-minute point that I'm about to hit, I cannot thank you enough. I need to get all this stuff off my chest. If I don't get this out, then it's going to keep weighing on me. And yes, I have gotten through, or gotten over a lot of my past, but I'm going ahead and going through it in detail so that I can erase those details if needed and become who I want to be. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be making more videos. They'll be shorter, but this is just the beginning. Smooches and deuces, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.